In the interest of not trying to blow myself up, we're gonna replace this guy. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. Some of you super OG people may remember this one. This is my 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo. And this guy right here is part of the reason why we decided to close the commercial shop, and I'm building one at home. I've owned this thing for like 6 or 7 years, driven it a few hundred miles, and I've had it parked for the last 5 years because just haven't had time to mess with it. Today that's gonna change. We're gonna get it running again. A couple weeks ago when we were moving everything out of the shop, went to start this thing and it had a massive fuel leak. So that was a no-go. So we just towed it, parked it in the yard, and I'm sick of having it in the yard. And I really do kind of miss driving it. And it looks pretty nice and has my all-time favorite wheel, the CCW Classic. Nearly 20 years ago, I put my first set of these on my first car. But that's neither here nor there. Today, we're gonna get it going again. Last time we tried to start it, it puked all the fuel out of it. It's not good, so let's take care of it. Being we don't have the day-to-day grind going on, we're gonna be able to mess with more of these guys laying around, so make sure to subscribe so you can catch us getting all my random stuff in shape. And if you enjoy any of this stuff, don't forget to give us a like. It always helps out. We're finally gonna have some time to get back to the things I've been missing out on, and maybe itching our back in the gravel. At some point along the way, I forgot to lock it at the shop and someone ripped the radio out. They didn't steal it. So in the interest of not trying to blow myself up, we're gonna replace this guy. At least I think this is what is leaking. This is a little fuel line down at the external fuel pump. And it's a good thing we are not in California, because if we were, this thing can cause cancer. So in our lovely work area here, we're gonna tear this wheel off. Yep, still adjusting to not having a shop with hoists and stuff. Kicking it old school. We'll get used to it for a bit. Soon enough. Soon enough. I'll be honest, it's right in the middle of everything there because that's as far as I could push it. I wanted it here. I pulled it up with the LR4 and tried to push it, and that's where I ran out of ass. Sasha's taking a break because we all know she does all the behind the scenes work off camera and I just take all the credit. Right, Sash? Oh, this is such a smooth pavement. Nice for rolling a jack. These are like my favorite lug nuts. They're aluminum. They're super, super light. I wish the camera had a scale so you could feel the weight difference between these two. There we go. So 18, 33. See, she's just waiting for the camera to go off so she can hop in and do all the work. So we got to get this plate out of the way because we have something leaking underneath there. Hopefully the hose that we bought. It's been sitting for a minute. But we just have to zip that guy off, and that should allow us to drop this cover plate, and the hose and stuff should be under there. That's the plan, at least. Yep, don't really look great. Could be why it's out of fuel. Those clamps look pretty nice though. Well, that was hard. Didn't even have to unscrew it. All right, just decided to yank the whole fuel pump out just so I can deal with this clamp situation. This guy's stuck, as you can see. Sitting parked is not the greatest for cars. That was a nice clamp. All right, sun's kind of in a bad angle there, but we got the pump and the line back in there. We're just gonna slam the hose to connect everything. Then lower this little flap, take out our locking key, and slam some fuel in there. Then it is guaranteed to work 100%. But either way, this one looks much nicer than that. That end compared to that end, I think we will be in better shape. A little less leaky. Should get better fuel mileage if you just don't drop it on the ground. All right, everything's clamped back in place. Gonna end up ordering a new hose off the pump and a filter and everything because that's getting kind of crusty. But we're gonna see if this works first, then get all that coming because that's not long for this world. With fuel prices the way they are, this isn't a terrible idea. Still dry. Must have done something right so far. Matey. Probably need a battery. Not exactly sure where that went. Probably the same guy who took the radio out. That should do. Forgot I had a boost controller on this guy too. So much power. All right. Gotta use the right key. One would think something would work. All right. We have some amount of power. A little slow turning, but we're getting there. We're in business. Not to mention it just has a straight 3-inch dump right on here. Look at that oil pressure. I don't know why that's going though. All right, we flip that, turn the hazards on. So that's interesting. We'll grab a battery for this guy, gear some tires up, check some fluids, do some burnouts. Maybe not the burnouts, but we'll at least drive it. Forgot how good that thing sounds. AAA to the rescue. She is thick. This is by far my favorite view of this guy. Just look at how meaty that is. All right, so we're gonna charge the battery up and take this guy for a spin. We'll see if that 4 or 5 years that it's been parked has been detrimental. So I originally parked it because it had some heavy oil smoke out of the exhaust after you warmed it up. Pretty sure it needs a turbo rebuild. We'll probably just do a new turbo setup because this has a mass airflow conversion, but it's an older one, and I'd like to do a little better setup than it has, something with an easier tunability. Beyond that, let me give you a rundown of what we did to this thing. Obviously, Broadfoot wide body, the wide CCW Classics. Like I said, favorite wheel ever. Then I also fabricated a stainless exhaust manifold setup, along with a full stainless 3-inch exhaust. And by full, I mean 2 under the driver's seat and dump. It's quite loud, sounds awesome. But outside of that, larger injectors. Went through and did head gaskets and studs. So it should be able to handle the 350, 400 horsepower that it is probably at now. Also modified the stock intercooler end tanks for better flow and a few other things here and there. Probably should put some wheel chocks on this thing, being we're on a hill, and I still have a little PTSD after the whole Defender rolling down a hill incident. So as you see, she is officially back in commission. I mean, a little bit of oil smoke under full throttle, as you could probably see in the video. So I'm thinking we'll probably have to address the turbo at some time. But doesn't it sound good? And this thing has like the perfect 80s feel. mechanical. We converted to manual steering. Brakes are nice and tight. And most of all, the turbo hits pretty hard. We got none of that technology taking turbo lag out of stuff. So she just kind of shits and gets. It's fun. And I miss this thing. We'll have to get it all sorted out and driving again. We're gonna have to address the fuel system, maybe a turbo sometime. But another thing we really need to sort out is some paintwork stuff. Previous owner at some point in time color matched the mirrors, and that is failing, along with my plasti-dip job on the wide body flares. So we'll actually have to do those, but the nice thing about that is all stainless, and we have rib nuts on there, so these rip off pretty easy. We also have the sunroof cracking. I want to do, I think it's a Saratoga or whatever, but the clear one, but those would become too much money, so we'll just fix this one. And we need to fix some previous damage repair there. It's got some filler cracking. So being I practiced on a Bentley, I think we can handle a almost 40-year-old Porsche. But there it is. We have the 944 turbo back in commission. It is quite nice to have a little free time to enjoy the toys. In other exciting news, we got our prints in for the building. Feel like a real deal contractor now.